reporting center?
Yes. I'm calling from New Mexico.
Yes, ma'am.
From Farmington, New Mexico.
Uh-huh.
And I'd like to find out, the airport told me to call you.
Yes.
If there had been any more reportings from this area, or if you would know of any UFOs.
No, ma'am, we haven't had anything. Did you see something?
Yes, I did.
I wonder if you could tell us about it.
Okay. I was coming from my parents' house last night. It was approximately 10 after 11.
Uh-huh.
And I seen something, and first I thought it was a meteor. You know, isn't that the balls of fire that come down out of the sky? You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Okay, I thought it was one of those, and I thought it was so big. And I didn't know what was happening. And I didn't realize how close I was to it until it hit just about 30 feet in front of my pickup, okay?
Was that on the roadway?
This was on the highway, right?
Okay.
And it hit, and it turned blue, just a blue color. And then it just kept going on the highway. It was kind of like bouncing on the highway. And it sounded like when someone has a flat tire. Just kept making this noise.
Yes.
And I sit there and I watched it, and it went back up into the sky, and it would move, and it would stop in a certain place, and it would move again. And it wasn't real big. It was, gosh, about the size, I'll say, of a refrigerator, except round.
Okay.
It just looked like a ball of glowing blue.
Uh-huh.
And it just kept moving, and it would stop in certain spots, you know. Okay, I remember watching it. And then the next thing I remember is some car lights coming towards me. And I was about 15 miles from the place that I first seen this. And I don't remember getting from point A to point B. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I was about 15 miles from where I started off, and it didn't seem like I watched it, but just about maybe a minute or a minute and a half. And then when I got home, it had taken me an hour and 10 minutes to go like 22 miles. And I told my husband, and he said it was static electricity, but I don't believe it was. So this morning, when my little boy come and got in bed with me, he's 2, he just kept telling me, light, Mama, light, light. And he must have seen it.
Was he in the car with you?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Okay, now, you feel that it was an hour and 10 minutes to go 21 miles?
Yes, I asked, I called my mom this morning, and I asked her. I said, it was 11 o'clock when I left your house, right? She said, right. And I did not get to my house till 10 after 12.
Now, you've traveled this route many times before?
Oh, yes. My parents live out at Chaco, and we live in Bloomfield.
Okay, now how long does it usually take you?
About 30 to 35 minutes.
Okay. Which highway was that?
It was off of Highway 44 when I first seen it,
Uh-huh.
And it was, all I know is that I can just tell you it's just a little highway off Highway 44.
Okay, fine. And you watched this object as it came down out of the sky?
Right.
Was that coming straight down?
No, it was going it was coming at like an angle. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't coming straight down, it was coming like an angle.
Okay.
And it just looked like a ball of fire.
Right.
It hit the pavement the first time. And then it was just a blue color.
And it bounced down the highway in front of you?
I don't think you'd say bounced, because it didn't bounce like a ball. It hit the highway. It looked like it hit the highway, and it would come back up, and it would hit it again.
Okay.
And then it just went right back up, and it did not go straight up. It went kind of more or less in an angle. And then I just watched it, and it'd go like in different motions, and it would just stop in a certain place.
Yes.
Go some more.
Okay, do you remember that object leaving the area?
No, because like I said, the last thing I remember is the car lights I was watching this, and then I seen the car lights, and I was like 15 miles from where I first spotted it.
That's when you saw the car lights?
Right.
Okay.
And I don't remember, seeing it leave or anything. I just remember looking at the car lights that was coming towards me.
Okay. In other words, you watched the object, and then the next thing you remember was the car lights coming towards you.
Right.
Okay. And then there was a loss of time. You feel there was a loss of time in there between
Right,
the two?
because I don't remember leaving, getting from how I got there. It was more like I was in a daze or something. And then when I got there to that, where I was at, I just thought, how did I get here? And I just didn't know, because I don't remember driving it.
Okay, did that take you beyond your original point of destination?
No.
Okay. But were you on the same highway?
I was on the right highway and everything. Like, I have a turnoff. I first seen it on this little highway, okay? Off of Highway 44.
Yes.
And I was on Highway 44 when I finally seen these car lights.
Okay. Was there quite a bit of traffic on that Highway 44 after you saw the headlights?
Maybe 2 or 3 cars.
Okay. How old was was that your son?
Yes. Well, he's 2.
2, okay. Did you have any problems with the truck later?
Not that I've noticed.
Okay. Has anything strange occurred to you since this happened?
No, I've been a little upset. Well, I'm pregnant anyhow, but, nothing has really happened strange to me. I just didn't sleep last night.
Okay. You got our number at the Farmington Airport?
Yes.
Okay. Can you add anything else to this?
Yeah, you asked me if anything different, if I had noticed anything different about my vehicle. Well, when I got right out of Bloomfield, I noticed that it didn't have the power that it did. And it just now dawned on me when I was thinking about that. When you said that, it didn't quite hit me, but not too long before I got into Bloomfield, it wasn't picking up speed like it usually does.
Okay. Now, you were driving towards Bloomfield when this occurred?
I was going to Bloomfield.
Okay. Okay, would you be willing to talk to somebody if we could get them in there to see you?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Did this ball of light, did it to maintain its color and brilliance at all times while you were watching it?
Yes, it did. This is what is odd about this, is that it seemed like when it went back up into the air, it did not go back into fire like what it come down in. But it seemed like it went a long way off, and I could still see it. And it didn't seem that big when it was in front of me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, Okay. Sure appreciate your reporting this, and if we'll try to get somebody in there, and if we come up with any more information as to what has happened, well, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Morning, Center.
Yes, my name is, and I live here in Walnut Creek.
Huh?
And I don't know if you ever heard of Rossmore. It's an elder retirement park, and it's back in the hills.
Okay.
And I just came out of the hills from visiting my friend. And we saw an unidentified flying object laying there.
Okay, would you like to describe it?
It's like a sausage shape, right? And it's glowing bluish.
Uh-huh. Did you see this in the sky?
No, it's on the ground now.
Okay. About what time did you spot that?
Just now. I just took 10 minutes to run down here and make use of the phone call in the pub here.
Okay, about how close did you get to that?
About 50 feet.
Okay, could you actually see a vehicle? Could you see the surface of an object?
I can see it. It's plain as day.
Okay.
It's about 50 feet in diameter all around.
Uh-huh.
And it stands about six feet high off the ground. And it's on 4 prongs, like, sticking into the ground.
Okay. Was it still there after you left?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Okay.
Matter of fact, a friend of mine is still up there watching it now.
You have a camera with you, did you?
No, but it's still up there right now.
Where'd you get our number?
I called the police station down here, and they told me that they gave me your number to call.
Okay. You think that thing is still up there?
Yes.
Okay, are you camped up in that area?
No, well, I live down in Walnut Creek here, and I was up there visiting a friend. He's still up there. Well, he's right by the thing now.
Uh-huh. Is this pretty close to a roadway?
No, it's Rossmore sits up on top of the hill. And down before you get to the road, it's about a mile. It's all hills between there. It's just a path we go up to walk to his house with.
Oh, I see.
To Rossmore. We were walking back down. We saw it down there.
Oh, you saw it when it was on the ground. You didn't see it come out of the sky?
No, it was just sitting on the ground.
Okay. Okay, well, we sure appreciate this, and we'll try to get a hold of somebody and possibly get them in there.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello there, how are you?
Just fine, thank you.
I am an Air Force pilot.
Yes, sir.
I saw something last night that I cannot explain. I was talking to Oakland Center, and they gave me your number, so here I am talking to you.
Okay, we'd like to hear about it.
Okay, what do you need to know?
Full description of what you saw.
Okay, I was in a C-141.
Uh-huh.
At 37,000 feet. We were coming from Travis Air Force Base down to Norton. And we were going to Linden. Let's see, it was between the Linden VOR and the Fresno VOR.
Okay.
And at first it appeared as traffic off to my 9 o'clock. And it looked like, it didn't look like standard position lights for an aircraft. It looked like 2 yellow lights of some kind. So I called up center, and they looked close. So I called them up and asked them if I had traffic out there. They said I had a PSA jet going south and a Navy A4 going east. Well, PSA usually goes faster than us, and we weren't losing any ground to it. And the A4 would have been going away from us, and it would have gotten, smaller or dimmer or whatever.
Yes.
The intensity didn't change, and the object seemed to remain stationary to our position. Sometimes it looked like 2 yellow lights, and then sometimes it kind of came together as one. And the intensity changed, but not with regularity. Sometimes it would be dimmer than others, sometimes, bright.
Right.
We hit Fresno, and then made a right turn coming down towards Bakersfield, and as soon as we made that turn, it disappeared. Now, it seemed to me once that it came straight up further into the sky and then back down. Now, I was the only one that saw that. The rest of the crew saw the lights, and opinion was divided between whether or not it was something on the ground or something low to the horizon. Now, the way I feel about it, it was to be that close to the horizon, it would have had to have been far in the distance on the ground. And then I can't see how it would have been that bright. I asked Center if there were any kind of fires out there or something like that. He said not to his knowledge.
Okay. What time did you spot that?
It was between 7:15 and 7:30 Pacific time last night.
Okay. Any estimate of distance from you?
Boy, you know, that's... My first estimate was, say, 20 miles.
Uh-huh.
But not knowing... you know, that was just going on intensity with what I know that I'm, you know, judging with position lights and things like that. But, you know, it could, if it was really bright, then it could have been God knows how far away. And I'm a lousy judge of distance anyway. But, you know, not knowing size or you know, how bright the thing was close up, it's hard for me to say. But it didn't seem like it could be anything on the ground because I don't know what line of sight is from 37,000.
Right.
But it looked way too bright to be that far out and on the ground. It looked like something that was on, you know, close to the horizon from our perspective, but not exactly on the ground. Now, as we approached Fresno, it very slowly started to fall behind us. But then as soon as we made that turn, it was gone altogether.
Did you actually see it disappear, or did you just lose sight of it?
Well, I was flying the airplane. I was watching it. We made the turn. I looked back, and it was gone.
Gone, okay.
And that was a space of just several seconds.
Okay, any problems with radio communication?
No.
Instrumentation?
Not caused by that, because we've had problems. It had problems all the way back, so
okay.
Nothing related to that, no.
Okay. But how long do you feel you watched it?
About, between 20 and 25 minutes.
Okay.
Have you received any other thing like this from last night?
No, the only thing we got out of California last night was a object seen on the ground in the neighborhood of Walnut Creek, which would be just a little northeast of the San Francisco Bay Area.
What was that described as?
A disc about 50 feet in diameter.
Well, we're not... Walnut Creek is right around where Travis is.
Right.
And, so, geez, I don't know. Did they talk about any kind of lights on it or anything?
No, they didn't. They didn't spend too much time in the area. They kind of scared them, and they took off.
I don't blame them. I tell you, sitting there and having Center tell you there's no traffic out there is something that makes you want to go home and talk to your mother. But, like I said, sometimes it looked like two lights or two objects, and then they would merge. And they remained stationary, and then at the end, very gradually, it appeared as though it had fallen behind us a bit.
Now, when that appeared to merge, did the objects move together, or did the light just expand and then come together?
Oh, boy. Let's see. Well, the lights... See, that's the only objects that I saw were the lights.
Right.
The lights came together, but when they came together, the intensity or the size of those objects became larger. So it was like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's the best way I can describe it without confusing you.
Okay, very good. Could we get your name, sir?
Sure.
How many were aboard? Or how many saw that?
Oh, let's see. There's me, my co-pilot, both my engineers, my nav, my load. There's an ACM, so what are we talking? 7 people.
7.
Maybe 8. No. He had gotten off before. 7 people.
Okay, did you all agree what you saw?
No.
Oh, okay.
The first thought was maybe that it was a star coming up, but it didn't rise. And my nav said that it was not a star. The guy that was just hitching a ride with us down here said that it looked like something on the ground.
Uh-huh.
At a great distance away. Well, that I couldn't buy because of the intensity of the light. If it was that far away and it was that bright to me, good Lord, if it was close, it would have lit up the whole sky. So, unless there was some mammoth forest fire out there or something. But like I said, I talked to Center, and he had no knowledge of anything like that out there.
You were flying due south when you first spotted that?
Just a minute. We came out of Travis, and we headed down to Linden, which is southeast.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's when we first spotted it.
Now, did you spot that dead ahead or to your left?
It was to our left.
Okay.
Then, as we, wait a minute now, I may be leading you straight. Because I didn't question it until we were heading Linden south to Fresno. Let me look at my map here and maybe jar my memory. If I can find out where the hell I was at. Okay, there's Fresno. Is Linden a town up there? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay, well, I find Fresno. There's Stockton. Okay, I think that, well, the first time that I questioned the controller about it, we had just turned south. Linden going to Fresno.
Okay.
Okay? And so I'd say that it was, that's the first time that I noticed it. And if that's in fact the case, then it was at my 9 o'clock, 9 to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And he mentioned the Navy and the PSA jets. And as I watched, neither one of those made sense.
Okay.
And he pulled up all other traffic and all other sectors out there and didn't have a thing.
How's your visibility range?
I was clearing a million.
Clear, okay. All right, sir. What was your rank?
Right now I'm a lieutenant for 5 more days.
Okay.
So I guess I'll give you that one.
Okay, well, we sure appreciate your making this report, and if we come up with any more information of activity in that area, we'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Well, I'll hang on to your number because, of course, I've only been flying for 7 years, and this is the first one I've seen, but God only knows. But, yeah, if you do, come up with some, idea on, verified other sightings or something like that, I'd really be interested.
Okay.
So if you could drop me a line or whatever, I'd appreciate it.
Now, you were talking to Oakland Center?
Oakland Center.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
You bet. Bye.
Bye. Reporting Center?
Will you accept a collect call from the Defense Department?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm calling from Point Magoo, California.
Yes.
The Naval Air Station?
Yes, sir.
We have are you interested in old sightings?
Sure.
Okay, this occurred on the 11th of December.
Okay.
And I'm an approach controller. I was working the radar scope. And I'll read you the statement that I prepared. How's that?
Great.
Okay, at approximately 8 p.m. local time on the 11th of December, I observed 3 to 4 targets on the radar scope, 3 to 5 nautical miles north of the Ventura Vortex. Am I going too fast?
No, sir.
Okay. Paragraph 2. As it was a slow night, I paid particular attention to these targets. The movement, when it could be observed, was rapid, and then they appeared to jump 5 miles in a sweep of the scope. A couple minutes later, there was a light civil aircraft making an ILS to the Oxnard Airport. I called the traffic. One target appeared stationary on the ILS final approach course. And he said he had contact with the target, and I asked him to describe it. All he said was that it had a strobe light and was between 7,000 and 9,000 feet. Okay?
Okay, great.
Okay, now at approximately 9:15, Golden West flight, which is a commuter airline down there, was outbound from Oxnard Airport to Los Angeles International. I had been out on a break, and when I came back in to work the radar, these 3 or 4 targets were still visible on the scope. Okay, when this Golden West flight was abeam of the Ventura Vortex, I called the traffic and told him to look high. He was at 5,000, by the way.
Okay.
He replied, contact,
And after a pause, he said that he saw strobe lights and noticed vertical movement of the traffic. So I asked him to call me on the phone after he landed at Los Angeles. And the last portion, the pilot, I have his name if you're interested.
Sure.
Mr. Called and said that after he'd been handed off to Los Angeles Center, that the target made a pass on him approximately over Malibu Beach. By this time, I think he was climbing to 7,000. He said the speed of the contact was extremely fast, and he first saw it in his 10 o'clock position. He said that he saw a green and amber light, very bright, and that he would classify it as a UFO.
Okay.
That's it.
Great.
We don't have any videotape, you know.
Right.
It did make a pretty good impression on this pilot. And he works for Golden West Airlines, so I'm sure you can get a hold of him.
Okay, you didn't leave any telephone number?
No, I don't have a number for him.
Okay.
But Golden West, I believe, is based in Los Angeles. I'm not even sure of that.
Okay. All right, sir, can we get your name?
Surely. My name is Naval Air Station, Point Magoo, California, 93042. And there was another fella that witnessed the same deal on the scope, you know, that I'm telling you about.
Yes.
And he's a Navy chief by the name of...
Type aircraft, you know.
Well, the reason that my attention was drawn to these targets is that they were not like any aircraft target I've ever seen on a scope.
I see.
And then when I had one of them sort of hovering on the ILS final approach course, and then I got a visual contact out of it, then I started getting a little suspicious.
Okay, as these things were moving on the scope, were they moving at high speed?
Well, when they did move, like I said, they jumped radically.
I see.
Like I think I mentioned that one of them moved 5 miles, and they were very small targets.
Okay. Did you compute any speed?
No,
Okay.
but we don't have any kind of speed readout system.
I see, okay.
But I did notice that one of the targets jumped 5 miles in what appeared to be a split second.
All right, sir, well, we sure appreciate you reporting this.
All right, very good.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you later.
Right.
UFO Reporting Center.
Collect call from with Golden West Airlines.
Yes, we'll take it.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. This is Alan Dredge. Are you Mr. Gribble? Is that it?
No, would you like to speak to Mr. Gribble?
Well, I received a letter from you people January the 22nd regarding a UFO sighting, and it was just a letter that you would like to have me call.
Okay, hold on, please.
Yes, sir. This is Bob Gribble speaking.
Yes, I received your letter January 22nd,
Yes.
and I'm with Golden West Airlines, and I haven't called you up until this point. I've given it an awful lot of thought, but I've just kind of been somewhat reluctant to talk about this UFO that my first officer and I experienced one night.
Okay, we understand that very well. But what we would like to do is get a description of what you saw. And
Did you want that now?
yes, sir, please.
Okay, the name,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a captain for Golden West Airlines.
Yes.
And on the evening that this happened, I really saw no object as such. But I was with Magoo Radar around the Ventura area. It's about 35 miles west of Los Angeles.
Yes.
And as I broke out of an overcast of about 3,000 feet, their comment to me was not in normal reporting traffic. They said, by the way, Golden West, do you happen to have an object at your 10 o'clock position? And at the time, I did not. And shortly thereafter, of course, it got my curiosity up. My first officer and I continued to look. And then we saw a lighting system like I have never seen before. It was, several lights, but and they were very circular in the way that they flashed. And About the time I saw one at 10 o'clock, probably 2 to 3 miles away from me, I saw another one at my 9 o'clock position, and at that time I asked Magoo Radar if he had that one. And he didn't have them, and to make a long story short, as we proceeded into the Los Angeles area, we watched these objects off of our left side, and their movement was very geometric, not like, well, something like a helicopter might do, but of course when they would move in the different directions, their speed were quite rapid. But in the sky, my first impression was it looked like something you might see they advertise on television, these little games that you have these little knobs you move around.
Yes.
And about, I'd say after we first spotted it, I had told my first officer to turn off our lights because my strobes were getting in the way and I couldn't see one of them anymore. And when I turned them off, one paralleled me for maybe 10 miles. And then he headed off in the northwesterly directions, and I figured that's the last I would see of him. And at that time, he came back across to my 12 o'clock position within the speed of, like you would just flip your fingers and he was there. Only thing, the lighting system had completely changed. It was like somebody had just turned their headlights on. And the lights were extremely bright. In fact, it got so close it just scared the hell right out of me.
Any estimate of distance between you and the object?
I would say it was within a mile, but the light intensity was so light, I never saw an object. At this time, I had questioned LA Radar, who we had gone to at that time at least a half a dozen times for some target information. And near the end, and especially when this thing came at my 12 o'clock position very dejectedly, or not dejectedly, but very firmly, they just said, look, Golden West, we have no targets, you have no targets, there's nothing in your area but you. And this whole sequence of events was probably 15 minutes.
Okay. When that object made or the light made a close approach and it became very brilliant, did it illuminate the inside of the cabin at all?
No.
Okay.
No, it did not. In fact, this thing stayed, I would say, at our 12 o'clock position for maybe 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds, and it just maintained exactly the same relative position to us. And then this thing, it just took off in an easterly direction in front of us, and within a matter of seconds, it just left, disappeared. And,
yes.
And that was it. I saw it, to explain this a little better, the lighting system, I saw the movie shortly thereafter called Close Encounters.
Oh, yes.
And the way I can describe the lighting system is in the beginning of that movie, these objects come from the coast or whatever it was inland, and the lighting system was as though the movie was taken from what I saw.
Uh-huh.
Kind of a haze in front of the lights.
Right.
And extremely bright. And the thing that scared the hell out of me, there's just no way that whatever that thing was could move with the intensity and the speed that thing come to my 12 o'clock position.
Okay. Did you have radar aboard?
No, we did not.
Okay. Did you have any problems with electronics or instruments while that thing was close by?
No, not that we noticed.
Okay.
We were, for probably the last 5 minutes of this flight, we were both, in fact, I can't even remember how I got to one place to the other, but it was, my interest was so intent on watching that thing that I'm sure that was it.
Yes.
But I didn't know this until just about 5 days ago, but the controller, man, I think his name is at Magoo Radar, he did file a UFO report on it.
Yes.
And after I got to L.A., I called him back on the telephone and talked with him about it, and he said in that area for approximately 3 to 4 hours, there were 3 or 4 objects, of which they were he couldn't identify them. Once in a while he had them, and then he wouldn't. And there was another airplane, a small one, who identified some, as he told me, some strange lights. And when I talked to him, he just wanted a confirmation of what I'd seen and my experience. And that was kind of the end of our conversation.
Okay. While you were watching this, did you hear any other radio chatter from other aircraft that might have seen it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Was this object, your estimate on the close approach, was it quite large?
The way that the lights were, when they turned to this bright amber color right in front of me, if I were to guess the size, I'd say it had to be something in the size of maybe like a light would come from an airplane in the size of a 727 or something of that order.
Okay.
It had to be a larger object.
Okay. Did you experience any buffeting while this was going on?
None at all.
Okay. All right, sir. Could we get your mailing address?
Sure.
Would there be any chance of getting the name of your co-pilot? Okay. If we have anything to send to him, would it be okay to do it through you?
Of course.
Okay, great. Well, sir, we sure appreciate your cooperation regarding this.